All right, welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, joined today in studio by none other than Randy Angston.
Live studio audience.
Fantastic. So good to see everybody here in the studio. Thanks, Nick.
80 people.
If you're listening to this today and you look at your calendar and it says October 5th and it's before 1 p.m. Pacific time or 4 p.m. Eastern time, you do have time to register for the Black Friday webinar. I'm hosting it today. winninggym.com/BF23. It'll be in the show notes. The reason you want to be on this is a great time for you as a gym owner to pick up new clients, generate massive cash deposits, and the marketplace is conditioned to pull out their wallets on Black Friday, and this is your opportunity. You cannot complain that you didn't hit your numbers this year and not run at Black Friday. You can only win if you register. If you play. You can only win if you play, right? You can't win if you don't play, right? That's the old lottery thing. But listen, that's the truth.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to join me. You got time today. I'll be there. It's going to be probably a good 90-minute webinar. I'm sharing all of I've cracked the code. I mean, this is something that works. This worked for 8 years across the board for hundreds of gyms. Just such a great campaign. I'm revealing all the secrets today.
To the tune of, what, 16 million or so in training revenue collected. So you'll want to be in that webinar, that's for sure.
Big time stuff. Okay, so this episode, guys, we're talking about the culture within your facility for the need of sales, right? So one of the, if you go to a big box gym in the industry, in the fitness industry, those personal trainers have to sell. They're that's the way that they make money. They have to go out on the floor, meet new clients, try to close deals, do it on their own, whatever it is, they got to make sales. In our facility, we have kind of a different style of culture because what we've learned for years and years, it's like personal trainers, fitness coaches aren't really always the best salespeople. However, they need to understand that the business, in order to operate and generate profit, in order for them to make money, they have to make sales. The business has to make sales. So how do we go about this kind of tiptoeing this line, this tightrope walk between, hey, we don't want you to have to sell, but we need you to sell. And in this episode, we're going to kind of dive into that a little bit and how to make it real easy for your coaches to do that.
I think, first and foremost is some people have a natural resistance around sales. What they don't know is that they sell all of the time, right? And almost every conversation that's had, a sale takes place. I mean, people, from the time you're a kid, you're trying to convince your parents to give you candy or get away with going out with friends.
Not going to bed.
Not go to bed early. All those types of things, right? Like sales are part of just natural conversation. It's when we attribute it to like the exchange of value or where we feel like we're taking something from somebody. That's usually where most of that resistance comes from a lot of those nurture, care type, the trainer brain, if you may. And so first, I would absolutely just have the conversation with them and let them know that, the sale isn't necessarily a bad thing, that in order to be able to serve that client, the sale has to take place. And in order for them to do the job and everything that they're great at, we need to be able to sell, to new individuals and just at least start their mindset around there shouldn't have to be a stigma. It's not a bad thing. And it should be coming from a place of servitude and care and compassion. If our clients are coming to us for the greatest result and we know that we have the opportunity to give them a better result by moving them into a higher priced programming or layering in nutrition or some other program or ancillary sales that would help with those results, that is the obligation of serving that client, right? And so I think first and foremost, obviously the mindset of the individual when it comes to sales is going to be a big part of it. But then, getting into how you can do it in your job, it doesn't have to come across like a hard, cold, sales opportunity. And I think that on the coaching floor, there's a million of those, opportunities.
Yeah, one of the best things that we've done recently was, your clients are going to ask you, what should I do about nutrition? And we all know during the training session, it's very difficult to really dive into it anyways. But instead of trying to give advice, instead of being like, hey, what are you eating right now? And, what's your calorie intake and all this stuff on a training floor, or even doing your best to do it in between sessions, what we've done here, and what I think every gym should do, is have a central point or a universal answer to this same question. And our universal answer is, yes, Mrs. Johnson, you need to talk to Brandy about nutrition. And because Brandy's our nutrition coach, Brandy's also commissioned to do sales for nutrition. And if we can help line up Brandy and edify her as the go-to person within your facility, it's going to do two things. Number one, it's going to create more sales. But number two, it gets the message across all clients to be universal. We're not having Coach A trying to teach Mrs. Johnson something and Coach B trying to teach somebody else something else, because more often than not, the coach is going to have their own philosophies anyway.
Sure.
So we have a global response. Hey, you need to talk to Brandy. Can I get you set up with her for an appointment?
And what I like that too, because what it does is it kind of breaks up almost the roles and responsibilities, like a setter and closer. You know what I mean? Because most people, right, like even in the sales world, the closers are the salespeople. They're the good ones, right? They're the people that get paid a little bit more money because they're the ones that get the person to sign on the line, right? The setters usually have a little bit less. Usually a little less skill set when it comes to the ability to take somebody the distance on the close. But that's the reason that they're the setter, is they're the relationship. They're the ones that's creating some of the rapport, guiding that person closer to the opportunity. And that's all that's all they should be all they should be attempting to do, right? Don't try to go for the close, go for the appointment.
Yeah.
And if that's where their comfort level is, let's accelerate that, right? How many people can we put in front of Brandy? That's all they need to and that's all they need to worry about, right? It's hey, she's the expert. I need to get good at making sure people know Brandy is the absolute best, and they need to be in front of her.
Yeah,
that's
it.
And let her do the rest,
job,
right?
Yeah, and it sets her up, it edifies her, and again, the universal, the communication across all clients can be the same, which is probably the number one thing that I'm most concerned about. Yeah, I want them in front of Brandy. I want Brandy getting more closed deals and all that stuff on the nutrition, but I don't want some abstract coach coming in here and throwing some weird stuff at a client we don't know about.
Yeah.
Because they're doing it in between sessions and like, hey, yeah, go get these smoothies over at this place and you're going to lose weight, whatever, right? Yeah. You never know.
Well, and it goes back to the whole brand, controlled aspect. I mean, when it comes to the programming and the program design, obviously that's a big component that we've solidified in the facility. The nutrition is just another way of, you have to control that conversation just as much. The brand has to own the result of the client in that regard, not the individual coach.
Of course.
Because we don't have multiple coaches doing multiple options, we have got one process,
one process,
and that's the way everyone has to go. But I think that like we've been saying, the responsibility of the coach might not be for sales, but if you look at, like we've talked about before, there's different ways of making more money in your facility, right? If you were to go and think of like selling new memberships, is like that's the responsibility of your marketing and your whoever's doing the sales consultations. Your coach in the floor, make Ascension their responsibility. Like the clients that are already in your facility, what opportunities do those clients have for a greater result? And in the other end of the coin, it provides the opportunity for the business to make more money. That should be the responsibility of that team, in my opinion, right? Like, what can our coaches do? They should be asking questions. They should be making sure that the clients are in the right memberships for their results. When Mrs. Johnson's been coming 2 times a week, maybe she needs to come a 3rd time a week, or maybe she could benefit from that. But the ask should be at that coach's, like at the coaching level. They're the ones that are with that person all the time. They're the resident expert. We need to have the mindset of the prescription, right? Like we are providing that client with the results that they're looking for, not taking orders and allowing them to decide,
right,
what's best for them.
No, I like that because the influence the coach has is everything.
Absolutely.
The clients respect coaches, or they should. If they don't, they got a bigger problem. But they respect the authority of the coach. They are hiring the coach to do the work. They expect the coach, the clients expect the coach to look out for the client in their best interest. If it's in their best interest to come a 3rd day, then the coach is responsible. It's their responsibility to get them to move up. And that's what essentially is Ascension. Yeah. Mrs. Johnson, I mean, I see that you're getting great results. Like I know you talked about this weight loss goal at this particular date. Well, let's get you in for another day. How's that sound? And then just walk them into the front office and hand it off to, your fitness director. Hey, Zach, listen, Mrs. Johnson's going to go ahead and jump up to another session per week. Can you take care of it? Yeah, absolutely. Come on in. Right.
Boom.
That's so easy to do. And it's selling, but it's not hard, cold, closed selling. That's what people think it is.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing. Like coaches that are, that have that fear, it's like them sitting down across from somebody and having to have the whole conversation from minute one. What do I say? How do I go? You don't have. You're already doing 99% of it. They don't realize it, right? They're talking to the clients about the results. They're talking about some of the things that they're eating and their activities and things like that. But look for opportunities within those conversations to align the client's desires and results with new opportunity for the business to make more money.
Perfectly said. Yeah. Let's start. Let's just end that there, because if you can get your whole team on board with that, the whole business is going to do better. It's going to flourish, right? Because the second way you make more money is your current clients buying either additional things or paying more. Well, you can do both, right? They can pay more by getting additional things. They can do nutrition. They get supplements. They can do an extra session per week, etc. Now, this isn't asking for a referral. This is looking at the current client that's standing in front of you and hoping that they get the best results possible with you. And by doing that, usually means the higher up the ascension ladder they need to go to get better results. That's just the way it works.
There you go.
Okay, y'all. Well, that's it for this episode. Try to build that into your next team meeting. I think that'll help everybody out and get your coaches all on the same page, and you'll see your business kind of move forward, moving the needle. That's the goal.
That's growth without you having to go spend money to acquire new clients. I mean, that's a huge place for opportunity. It's already in your business.
Yeah, awesome, great one. All right, that's it for this episode, you guys. Until next time, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next show. Bye.
All right, and thank you for listening to that episode of the Built to Grow podcast, where we help gym owners win. Now, do you want to connect with me and other gym owners online? All you need to do is join our private Facebook group, Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. Just head on over to Facebook and type in Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. And when you do, we're going to give you our 10 marketing strategies 7-figure gym owners use to win. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, keep building something great.